Okay.
Okay, amazing. So today I am super excited to share with you another one of our client celebrations. We've got Katie Sorensen with us today, and we're super excited to share her daughter Adelyn's data. I'll let you introduce her, or I'll let her introduce her daughter to you in terms of her age and some of the things that she was going through. But we are just super excited to have her here and to have her share her story. So, Katie, I would love to turn it over to you. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your daughter? How old is she? What did things look like for you guys before we met?
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Troy. And I'm happy to share our experience because I hope it helps some of you make the decision to do this with your kids because it's been really valuable for us. So, our daughter Adelyn, she's 10 years old. She was in fourth grade. We started this program the second semester of her fourth grade year. And she was diagnosed with dyslexia as a first grader, actually during COVID, and we are trying to homeschool her. And it became really apparent to us that we needed to figure out what was going on. So that's kind of how she was diagnosed. Since first grade, she's been in special education classes through her school. It's a great program, great special ed teacher that we have a lot of faith in. She's also been in private tutoring, which was also helpful. It's just the progress was really slow and she was still struggling a lot. And as she got higher in grade level, things start getting harder and she's supposed to be reading and doing book reports and just being able to comprehend better than she was. And it started becoming apparent that it's frustrating for her, right? Obviously, it's very frustrating to recognize that she wasn't on the same skill level as her peers. So, and that hurts us as parents too. It's hard to see.
Absolutely. No, I mean, those are your babies. And so tell me more about like, what was the thing that caused you to say, okay, yeah, we do have special education support? Because I think this is in common for so many people. Like they do have some support at school. And like you said, we are investing in tutoring. And so you feel like I'm doing the right things and it's just making slow, if any, progress. So what was for some people it's more emotion based and it's like, okay, I'm noticing some of these behaviors in my child that are really
Mm.
causing me to be concerned, or was it more academic for you guys? What was the thing that made you say, oh, we got to do something else?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't feel like it was like one certain thing, but as a healthcare provider myself, I know the notions of neuroplasticity. And to me, like traditional special education, tutoring just like wasn't tapping into that in a way that I felt like was possible. So when I came across your program and you're talking about like truly like helping brain connections, like that's the issue. It's not that she's not smart or it's not that she needs like more repetition, right? Because if it was repetition that was the issue, it should have, after 3 years of traditional stuff, really should have been corrected, right? But that's just not the issue. And we know that about our kids with this struggle is like their brains work differently, which is great and beautiful and wonderful. And we don't want to change that, but we just want to help them succeed in like the worlds that we're in, keeping their beautiful extras, but making things a little bit easier for them academically. So yeah, it wasn't a certain thing. I think it just was great timing that I came across your program and believe in this neuroplasticity and that we can train our brains to work in new ways. And I think that's exactly what I did.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's get to the good part, which is
Yeah.
like what she did as a result of the program.
Yeah.
So I went back and looked at this right before our call because I wanted to remind myself, but
Yeah.
holy cow, was her data incredible. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at her reading scores, which were at the 8th percentile. She finished at the 73rd percentile,
Yeah.
which I mean, a lot of people are like, holy cow, I can't
Yeah.
even believe that that's possible. But I mean, from your perspective, would you tell us what the difference was
Yeah.
between what it looked like before and what it looked like after?
Yeah, I think that data is just like so fun to see. And just for people that are considering this, like Dr. Choi does use externally validated tests that you do pre and post. And It's all like, it's not some made up numbers. So yeah, that's really important to me to
Yeah,
see too.
right.
Um, but from just like a life perspective, what we saw was that Adelyn's confidence really increased a lot. She's definitely more willing to try reading. And she does now. Like, so she reads in the community, like signs and menus and articles on, newspapers, whatever it might be. Whereas before she really didn't, like I think reading was just so difficult for her that she didn't even bother really trying unless she had to for school or something. But now she is. And I think that just is really fun to see. And thank goodness. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so I was also looking at her spelling scores, and she's
Mhm.
like right in the average range. So she had the 50th
Mhm.
percentile, but if you counted the ones that were just one letter off, or that she would have been spelling phonetically,
Right.
she had
Yes.
97% of those. And so talk to
Just
me
so
about the
cool.
difference
Yeah.
in spelling, what
Mhm.
it looked like before and what it looks like now.
Yes, very cool stuff. So for her to be average is a huge, huge win after the program, her 50th percentile. But like you said, now she can spell phonetically, which honestly she couldn't before. Like when you're reading a child's writing, you can usually figure out what they're trying to say. But sometimes we couldn't with Addie because she just kind of would put random letters in there. And it'd be really difficult to decipher what she was actually, which word she was actually writing. Whereas now you can tell what she's after, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
I
right.
think that phonetic link was missing before, and
Mhm.
now it's there, which really does help with her being able to sound words out as well as spell.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the big features that happens when you teach the brain how to actually hear and respond to language is that you're not losing it. So, I'm sure that you were not unlike so many others where it's like one day we might have it, the next day we don't, and
Mhm.
then it appears
Yes,
like we're doing this roller coaster. Whereas now, I
yes.
mean, things have been consistently like she's decoding words and she can spell by sound, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We've been done with the program for what, couple of months. I mean, it's been a little bit at this point, and she's doing great. So it's like we're no longer doing the daily exercises like we were through the program. We're reading and we're writing, but it's nothing too crazy. But yeah, her skills have remained the same even after the
Amazing.
program. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, because that is a question sometimes like, well, what happens afterwards? Do I have to
Oh,
keep doing these exercises? And
forever. Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that is like going back to what we're used to with like traditional tutoring and special education classes. It's like that's very much about repetition and practice and memorization, which like just kind of doesn't work, right? Like it works, but it's not fixing the underlying issue. Whereas this is really working on brain connections, and we see a difference. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So I guess the only other thing that I think would be helpful, well, I mean, there's a million things that would be helpful, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's challenging to know, how do you know when it's a good thing? So there's a lot of
Mhm.
programs out there. There
Yeah.
are a lot of different avenues for a struggling parent. And especially when your baby's got something going on that you aren't really happy with how it's going, you research in the
Mhm.
night. I mean, I'm a mother
Yes.
too. I
Yeah.
spend all kinds of time researching what's going
Yes.
on with my kid. How can I
Then
help
you
this
have
get
ads pop
better?
up galore, and it's hard to
Right. It
decipher.
is. And it can be really tough to know or to feel confident that like, okay, I've tried all these other things and maybe they've failed me in the past.
Yes.
And so would you talk about like how did you get to that place where you decided like, okay, we've done tutoring, she's been in special education. Like,
Mhm.
how do I continue to support her even
Sure.
though, I might have had these experiences before?
Yeah. And it's hard. I think for us, it was just a wonderful like blessing of timing, and it was great. It just worked out for us, and we took the leap of faith, and we're so glad that we did. Um, I think a lot of the other programs that are out there are similar to what your kiddos are probably already doing in school, right? So it's tutoring, it's memorization, it's practice, which is fine, but they're probably already getting that in school. This is more neuroscience based, which is what I was after. Again, as a healthcare provider, I knew there had to be something to help kiddos' brains connect in the right way that we need them to connect in. And this is it. And I think you'll be refreshed that Dr. Troy's programs, it's not difficult stuff. It's easy stuff that you'd be surprised helps in the way it does. But as a parent, that's a relief because we have such full plates anyhow. And I'm not a teacher. Like I don't want to like learn a whole curriculum and try to figure all that out. Although we'd all be willing to if that's what would help. But thank goodness this is just easy stuff that's easy to pick up, to learn, and then to do with your kiddos. And Dr. Troy takes you through step by step. It's not hard and it makes a huge difference. So
I'm really glad that you said that because we do have a lot of our clients that have absolutely no background in education, absolutely no background in neuroscience. And the common denominator is that they are a caring parent. And so, I mean, in 10 to 15 minutes, you can do just
that's right. 15
Yes.
minutes a night.
Yeah.
And it was actually fun. Like it became like this little bonding routine for Adelyn and I, and we looked forward to it every night and it was fun. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. And it wasn't, she didn't get frustrated. It was easy and just, it's nothing overwhelming.
Well, I think that speaks volumes to you also in the way that you've set that up for her. So I can't give you enough props for that. But thank you so much, Katie, for sharing your experience because I just think it's really helpful to just put like the real honest stories out there. Like who are our families? What does this look like? You know, we have a lot of people that say like, I'd love to talk to somebody that went through it. What was that really like? And so I appreciate your willingness to share that.
Yes, I'm happy to put our story out there because I think if you're struggling, it's a great program. I think you should do it. So
amazing. Well, I appreciate you so much and congratulations to both you and Addie. I can't tell you how proud I am.
Thank you. And you're wonderful. You've been so supportive and I've really enjoyed this and I'm so thankful that you put this out there for the world.
Wow, you are amazing too, Katie. It's been a blessing to serve you. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Bye.